Well, hey, everybody. Just want to welcome all of you, those of you who actually have chosen to be in the room with us, those maybe who are joining us later online. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. This is a little unusual. I just want to address our online audience. Hopefully, the majority of our church is getting on here, Ridge Church, and checking things out and following along and worshiping along with us. I just want to thank you for taking the time and doing that. This is obviously an unprecedented season, not just in the life of our church or even our city or state, but literally around the world. This is an unusual time to be alive and trying to figure things out and how we're going to manage really just getting through life. And so even churches have to figure this out. And so I see this as, I think most churches are taking this approach where there's a real opportunity here. And anytime there's crisis, when something happens that's terrible, we know how this goes. We've been a part of this in the past, even about a year ago with the tornadoes. We really seem to shine at those times. We really stand up and make ourselves known. And I hope that this, though, becomes an indicator of who we really are. Even during the regular seasons of life, during the mundane. That really is our hope, that wherever you're gathered, that you would begin to see that this isn't just about Ridge Church, this isn't just about local churches, this is really about being the church, because we're not identified. I hope that once again, the church becomes identified not by a building, not by even large gatherings on Sunday mornings, but that we would just continue to be the church, that those who love people and reach out and share the hope of Christ. That's really who we are. That's the heartbeat of who we are. And so it doesn't matter where you are. I just wanted to start this by giving you a couple of things before we get into today's message. We've kind of shifted gears a little bit, but I want to share a couple of things that we don't want to lose sight of during this period of time. We've got this coronavirus issue. We know that it's not done yet. It may not have even peaked yet as far as the number of people that it's going to reach. And so we just want to be prepared for that. And obviously this is going to be a day by day, week by week sort of thing. So it's going to remain fluid. But we just want to let everybody know a couple of things that we don't want you to forget. So first of all, just don't give up meeting together. Okay, you're here, you're online, you're gathered together, so you're beginning that process hopefully, but don't give up meeting together. I think that's the greatest danger of, it's kind of what people find nervous about. Well, if we don't meet, then people are going to disappear. And I don't think that's the case. I just think we need to be reminded and challenged not to give up meeting together. And so first of all, here's some things that you can do. Join a watch party. And what we're talking about are what is going to be happening maybe even right now in the comfort of your own home, or maybe you're at somebody else's home with your small group. Join a watch party on Sunday mornings. We're going to be posting as long as, at least for the next, today and then the following 2 weeks, we're going to be posting these kind of services online, and so we want to continue to gather together. Then get in a small group, and maybe this is just an opportunity to get in a small group for the first time. Some of you are already in small groups, some of you are in 3 or 4 small groups. I would just say pick one for now, and just spend some time with those people during this season. Maybe we can't get 500 people together, but we can certainly get a few people together at different times. So not just Sunday morning watch parties, but then continue meeting with your small group outside of Sunday mornings, and then look for opportunities to serve people. And that's going to be coming up. We're going to make that, create those opportunities as they become available over the next few weeks. We don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but we're going to just be very ready and willing to help in any way that we can. Anybody that maybe you know of, any needs that you have. Maybe if you're watching online, maybe you have a need. Maybe there's some elderly in your life, or some who are high risk that can't get out at all. Maybe they can't get groceries. Maybe they would like to share in communion. Whatever that looks like, we're willing to try to help out. And so you can always go to our website. There's a contact page, and we would love for you to let us know what's going on there. And so that's also how you can sort of register that you were here today. You can just fill out that form and, hey, watch the service. and appreciated that. Maybe you could give us some thoughts and some ideas on what would make this this experience even better during this period of time. So also I want to make mention of this, that Sunday, March the 15th, our President Trump, just a couple of days ago, marked this as another National Day of Prayer. We know that that's in May. Typically, and I imagine that will come again, but for this year, he just wants to encourage everybody who has any faith at all to pray to whoever that is. For us, we trust that that is the one and only God of the universe. And so we're going to be praying together in our circles. Obviously, again, we can't all come together. I'll be praying. We had a time of prayer just before this service. We'll be praying at the end of this. But what I want to encourage you to do right where you are is immediately following the service. When we end that, I want you to pray. If you would, just go ahead and just mark it out. Just say, even if you're driving somewhere, you're watching this later in the day, just take the opportunity, pray, whether that's by yourself, maybe it's just with your family, or maybe it's with your small group. Take some opportunities, pray for our leaders, pray for our country, pray for those around the world who are making decisions every day, that the general population would be very open and considerate and understanding. That's really the word. Understanding of the decisions that are being made and the weight that is really on the shoulders of leaders all around the world who are having to make very difficult decisions, and understanding that there's always two sides to every argument. And so we want to be as supportive as we can of these leaders, to come under their authority and their leadership, and to do accordingly, but then to meet needs in the midst of that. And so pray for those who are affected by this virus, who will be affected in the future. I mean, let's just take the opportunity and pray together. So I just wanted to go ahead and say that up front in case you had to miss the end of the message. So I just want to make sure you do that following this. So to begin today, I always think it's interesting how, and this is reflected in my own life as well, but when it comes to changing our schedule or our routine, how difficult that is. Have you ever noticed that? I mean, I don't know if you've noticed that, but just changing even things that we know we need to prioritize, or things that we know would make our lives a little bit better, like I need to spend more time at home, or I need to not work so much, or I need to, focus on this or think about this. It's so hard to actually do something about it, to actually fix the problem until there's a crisis. And all of a sudden, we have this unbelievable ability to adjust. I mean, we make adjustments. I mean, we're making adjustments right now. It's like we figure it out when something happens, when there's a loss of a job, or there's a relationship that ends, or, maybe a widespread crisis like coronavirus. I mean, whatever it is, we adjust and we figure it out. But it's so hard just in kind of the normal scheme of things for us to make those adjustments. And yet we do when it comes to things that happen, that we're kind of forced to. But nobody really wants to be forced into that situation, because we all do. I mean, it's like, no, I can't stop, I'm busy, I got too much work to do. And then we get sick, and guess what? It wipes us out. You get the flu and you wind up in bed, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, you stopped. And yet when we're healthy, it's like we just got to keep going, and we got to keep going. But crisis causes that. But here's the thing. We struggle to make changes, I think, because we like to know what's happening. We like to kind of have our routine because it's the most predictable future for us. As long as I kind of have my routine and everything's in order, then I can know what to expect with my day and with my week, and it should go accordingly. And then circumstances they always happen, and it kind of throws us off course. Here's why we push against this when everything's good, because we struggle with the unknown and the unexpected. Matter of fact, I would say, and I didn't put it on there, but we fear it. We struggle with the unknown and the unexpected because it bothers us. Because we can't control it. It seems outside of our control, and we can't do anything about it. And so it kind of pushes against us, and it pushes against everything that we know and everything that makes us feel comfortable. And when we can't control it, then we tend to fear it, and we resist it until something actually happens and forces us. And so, of course, as Christians, we always know it's like, okay, so I'm supposed to just trust. I mean, that's what we talk about, trust and faith all the time. And that's who we're supposed to be. But we know how difficult that is because things are still unknown and unexpected. So we know that we struggle with this, but we're also collecting information all the time. Isn't that true? I mean, that's what we think bothers us, is the information. It's like, because we've got social media, because we turn on the news and we see everybody's posting about what everybody's doing, and how much, well, everybody else is collecting, gobs of toilet paper and hand sanitizer, and I have no clue why I need extra toilet paper. Why that is the thing this time, I don't know. It's always, when it's a hurricane, it's always like water, milk, and bread or something. I've never heard toilet paper. This time it's like we're only talking about toilet paper. Like that's, all of a sudden, it's the essential item. And I'm just thinking, there are just so many other things that sound essential to me, outside of toilet paper. Yet everybody's stockpiling toilet paper and hand sanitizer, and that seems to be the thing. And so we've got all the information, and so we think that as long as we have information, then we'll be okay. But isn't this true? Information just makes us emotional, but it doesn't show us the future, which is why information doesn't really help. Information just makes us nervous. It makes us emotional. It makes us a little scared. But here's the thing. It's not information that actually scares us. It's information that doesn't produce the results of what we're looking for in the future. It doesn't provide, hey, I've got the information that helps me know what the future holds. No, it doesn't. So it's not the information that's the problem. It's the unexpected. It's the fear of the unknown. So we get all the information. It makes us a little emotional. It stresses us out a little bit. We see what everybody else is doing. We see that we read the statistics. We see the stories and the articles, and we watch the videos, and we see our news feed, and it's just on and on and on, and all the pictures. And yet, it still doesn't help us predict what the future is going to look like, and so we're nervous. It's not the information that's the problem. It's just because we fear the unknown and the unexpected. And here's the problem for those of us, and we know this, as Christians, and this is why we're addressing this today as believers, because I want to remind us as Christians that we cannot live this way. Matter of fact, it's uncharacteristic of a Christian to live with that kind of stifling fear, because it isolates us and it causes us to go inward and to be very kind of self-preservation minded. And that's kind of the natural tendency, but it is not characteristic of a Christian. And we know this. Here's why, and this is why Jesus talked about it, because Jesus talked about this all the time. One of the things that he said was that, hey, don't worry so much about anything or anyone who can harm the body, but only that which can harm the soul. Like that was his theme. Don't worry about something that can just hurt you in this physical life. Worry about that which can actually harm your soul. And yet we worry about what happens in this life all the time. And we become stifled by it. Here's why it was an issue for Jesus. Because fear, isn't this true, neutralizes Christians from fully living and acting in faith. That's the real thing. When you hear the quippy statements, online right now, it's faith, not fear, live in faith and act in faith. And not. This is kind of the longer version of that. Because fear is neutralizing. It causes us to kind of go inward and to stockpile and self-preserve and to gather into a room somewhere and to put, kind of cozy up with our toilet paper and our hand sanitizer and just kind of live life. And it's like, well, man, if we can just get through this, we'll be okay, as if there's a hurricane coming. And in a way there is, and yet, yes, it's responsible to use wisdom, but it's also required that we exercise faith. And that's how we're to live. You see, living under the weight, and this is what we know as believers, this is why this message is so important. Living under the weight of what if isn't really living at all. Living under the weight of, well, what if this happens? Well, what if that happens? Well, what if it gets here? And what if it hits our family? And what if it affects our... Obviously, there are going to be some things that we have to deal with that we don't know. There's going to be information that comes our way that is unexpected. And there's going to be a future out there in the next few weeks, in the next few months, maybe even in the next few years, as to how we handle all of this, that are going to require some additional information. We're going to have to make changes. We're going to have to change the way we live and our living style. But it doesn't mean that we don't operate in faith. And there's no life, ultimately, living this way. And we know this. And Jesus said it all the time. He said, that's not why I came. I came for a different purpose. So we're going to look at a passage of Scripture today, and we're going to back up from the time of Jesus 1,000 years to when King David was ruling Israel. He was the second king of Israel. Was doing very well, was a successful king, a successful warrior. He had spent a lot of time in isolation for years and years. Matter of fact, the majority of the Psalms that he wrote were while he was running away from Saul, who was the first king of Israel, and he just didn't like him very much because he was trying to take the throne, and he knew that the throne was rightfully David's and that God had chosen him, and yet the people had chosen Saul. And so there was just this ongoing battle, and David knew that, and David ran for a long time, and finally God came through, and through a whole series of events, David ended up finally taking the throne. But he never forgot kind of where he came from, and so he writes. We're going to look at a very familiar passage, Psalm 23. You may have heard bits and pieces of this, or at a funeral. Sometimes you'll hear this read. Usually in kind of the Old King James Version is how we learned it oftentimes. But you'll be familiar with this. But I want to look at this with fresh eyes today, fresh ears, kind of open up our hearts. I want us to hear the words that King David was saying, because he remembers, he reflects back to the time of his youth when he was a kid, and he was caring for his father's flocks. He was a shepherd. That's really where he got his start. I don't know if you've gotten your start. You kind of thought you were inadequate or incapable. He was the youngest and the smallest of all of his brothers, and yet God chose him. Really because of his great faith and because of his trust in his heavenly Father. And so God brought him to that. But David always remembered and reflected on his relationship. So really this could be an entire series just going through this. But we're going to go through these verses. There's just 6 verses in chapter 23. And we're going to look through these fairly quickly, but I just want us to see this kind of as a whole, that this is really David's description of what a relationship with the God of the universe looks like. And just consider how personal this is. Listen to these words. This is the way he says it. He says, "The Lord is my shepherd." And how did y'all know it when y'all were kids? I shall not want, right? That's that very King James, and that's how I knew it too. And I was like, but I like this better, I lack nothing. The Lord is my shepherd. He says, I remember being a shepherd, and I remember what it was like taking care of my sheep. That's kind of what my relationship with God is like. God is like a shepherd, and we're the sheep, and I don't lack for anything. That this relationship with God, that's really what it looks like. I don't know everything. Think about the sheep. I don't have to know kind of what's over the next grassy knoll. I don't have to know where the next grassy, green, lush meadow is. I don't have to know that. That even as he's moving us along, I can just trust that the shepherd is taking care of us, and that he's going to lead me where I need to go, that he's going to provide the things that I need because I trust the shepherd. And so I don't lack anything. And notice this, this is really, there's just a lot of peace and contentment in his words here. It's like, just imagine honestly being able to say that even now, like with what's going on, to say, the Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. God loves me, he is guiding me, I lack nothing. Things aren't perfect. I don't know how. I'm a little concerned about my business. I'm a little concerned about my employees. I'm a little concerned about, my job, or am I going to lose my job in a few weeks? What's the economy? The, stock market's plummeting. What are my finances going to look like? I'm nervous for my kids and what this is going to do to them. And we're nervous about those things. And yet we can, knowing all of that, say, no, but really I lack nothing. I have all I need. I've got the people, that's what we always reflect on during times like this. Like, I got the people that I love. And notice this, he's really not writing to those who don't know and who have not put their faith and trust in their Heavenly Father. This is really hope for those who have. This is about an existing relationship, and it is available to those who don't have it. But really, he's talking about the relationship that already exists between a sheep and shepherd. This is something that is available, but really what he's saying, that to have that internal, like, I lack nothing, God is my shepherd, I don't know everything, but I lack nothing kind of relationship, that kind of trust, that's really something that can only be experienced in a relationship with God. And it's by faith. That's really ultimately what what it means to be content and to be peaceful, that requires a faith-based relationship. And what does faith require? Faith requires dependence, humility, sacrifice, giving up of ourselves and saying, God, I just trust you. I don't have to know everything. I'm just leaning into you. I trust you. And that is a step of faith. That is faith in action, and that's what that looks like. And then he says, notice this, he makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Listen to that imagery, which you've heard before, but think about it this way. He leads me to those kind of lush green pastures. I think this is David's way of just saying, look, you really don't have to worry about where he's taking me. You know, as I think about, God's provision in my life, there really is nothing. It's not even that he's just skimming the surface here. I can actually trust that he wants me to have full life. Like, this isn't just about taking me to where there's a little bit of food and I get to graze on the top. I mean, this is about I can walk and just lie down and feel the lush green pasture around me. I can enjoy it. There is more than just kind of getting by. I think sometimes we get caught in that. So it's like, well, I'm just in this, relationship with Jesus, and as long as I go to church and, endure Sunday mornings, then, somehow I get like a crown in heaven or something. But it's like we got to endure this life in order to get to the next. And yet David's just painting this picture. No, I'm just telling you, I'm in this relationship with God, and it's just good. Like, there's so much more than even what I need. And then he leads me beside the still waters. Really what he's talking about is peace. He leads me to peace. Being in a relationship with God just allows me, it doesn't mean I've got all the information. It just means that I do trust completely. He just leads me to a place of peace and content. And that only happens in a relationship with our Heavenly Father. We can have moments and experience a taste of that and a glimpse of that in our lives without a relationship with God. But I think to know and to truly grasp true peace and contentment, even in situations like we're in right now, it requires a relationship with God. And then he leads me and he guides me along those right paths. And he's just saying, look, he's going to take me in the direction that is best for me, that's not going to harm me. I mean, this is the way he wants to guide me. Sometimes we take ourselves in another direction and we run off. It's like, I don't really like this path. I don't really like where I'm going. This is kind of rocky. I can't see over that hill right there. It feels like there's maybe kind of darkness ahead. I don't really like that. And so we begin to take another direction that ends up not really benefiting us. And yet, to lean into our Heavenly Father is just to say, hey, what He does, what He desires for me, even though I can't see it and experience it and know it, even right now in this season, I just trust that He's taken me where He wants me to go. And it's good. And then, even though I walk through, what was the way we learned it? The valley of the shadow of death. I always think about that song. Even though I won't do it. I thought about it. See, I could have clipped that out, but that's just for you guys. Even though I walk, listen to the way it's translated here. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I mean, and again, think about it this way. Now he's shifted gears a little bit. He's not just talking about a relationship with God. He's actually talking directly to the shepherd. And he says, even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil. Why? For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. What is he saying? He's saying there's protection for me. I just know it. I mean, you're going to not just meet my basic needs, but I know that there's protection for me, for my family, even though I don't have it all figured out and I don't know what's coming next and I do not know how the situation that I'm in is going to turn out or whether or not any good can come from it, or even if I don't ever see any good from it. I just trust that you are capable of taking me there. I just trust that you are in charge, that you're in control, that you've got my protection and my provision in mind, that you love me that much. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. I just know that even when things look their worst, even when life feels bleak, even when the coronavirus is getting all over us and everything seems to be shutting down and the toilet paper is depleted, even then, even then, God is providing a way. And he is in control. I mean, do you kind of get this? I mean, this full sense of, wow, that's how much David leans into his heavenly Father. Then he shifts gears again. And this is the part that I really like. He shifts gears again. And so it's not so much shepherd imagery. He kind of adds to it. And there's a new layer here. And he talks about it in terms of God providing a feast for his most honored guest. And listen to the way he says it. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. We're kind of confused by that sometimes, I think. Like, what is he talking about? You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Now, think about this. This is David writing. He's a king, having parties and bringing people in and really honoring a guest. That was a big deal. He knew what that was like. And this is really what he's describing here. Providing kind of like the best kind of feast there is. I mean, really the spread where there's an honored guest who comes in and then you anoint their head with oil. And oftentimes it was very aromatic. It was, kind of had a perfume that would represent being cleansed or being healed. That's often what it signified. And so you would anoint your guest of honor with oil and they would come in. And then it wasn't like you just kind of gave them what you gave everybody else. This was like, David's describing here that God actually provides an abundance, like more than even we need. Notice this. Before he's describing this relationship between shepherd and sheep, like a shepherd's just kind of there, because, all the sheep don't really know what to do and they're kind of dumb and he's just kind of keeping them from running off the cliff. And, it's this idea, sometimes we get the imagery, it's like he's just kind of keeping us from stupidity. That's sort of what we get. But he shifts gears and says, no, it's so much more than that. It's actually like we're an honored guest in God's home. How humbling is that? This is the God of the universe we're talking about. The God who created us and put breath in our lungs. And he is the one who is in control of all things and outside of all things. And yet he has created this feast, so to speak, and has placed it before us and has given us more than enough. Given us more than we need. I actually want to, I'll just go ahead and finish up this part. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. In other words, I think he's saying, why in the world would I leave? Why would I walk away from that? Have you ever considered that? I feel like those who kind of abandoned faith at some point really did not understand what faith really was. I don't think they understood what a relationship with God really looked like. To walk away from it, because I'm just like, what? I think David's saying, why in the world, when I am in your presence and you're wanting not to just meet my needs and kind of make life kind of okay and we're just getting by. Matter of fact, you want to bless me in such a way. And maybe David was talking about, kind of his material wealth and, that's kind of his thought process there. But there is no promise. There's no promise here of great wealth for us. This is the way I think we can say it. God continually prepares a feast of what? Peace and contentment, not of great wealth and comfort. I think that is the feast that God is laying out before us. He's saying there is something so much more than what is material. We get that confused sometimes. I think, well, God, you're going to bless me and, you're going to make my name great and you're going to, give me all, I'm going to get a couple of cars and as long as I give, I'm going to get. And that's kind of how we process sometimes. And that is such poor theology to think that way about our Heavenly Father. And it just places us in this position of being our own God, so to speak, as if, well, as long as I do, then I'm going to get. As long as I give, I'm going to get. And that's just not the relationship. Instead, really what is promised here is peace and contentment, because what's better than that? Even those who have great wealth and who have everything that they think they need understand that really what they long for in times of, like when their life is ending, they just wish they had some contentment about who they are and about what life looks like and about their legacy and about what their kids have done and how they've invested in their grandkids. That's really what ends up mattering the most. Peace and contentment should be the characteristic of all believers during a season like this, don't you think? as we go through these next few weeks, this should be a marked characteristic of believers. This should be who we are. That our cup actually overflows. And so surely his goodness and love follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Why would I leave? Why would I leave? And then 1,000 years later, Jesus shows up on the scene because God decided, hey, I'm going to send my son. And while David gave us some great words about what a relationship was like, I actually want to give you an example. I want to give you the ability to see it for yourself, what a relationship with your Heavenly Father, with the creator of the universe can really look like. And so he puts on skin, and he comes and he spends time with us. And Jesus does the unthinkable, and he begins to spend time with his creation. And he shares some things along these lines. And he actually refers to himself as the Good Shepherd. He kind of picks up on this language and this analogy again. But before he gets there, listen to the picture he paints. He says, the thief comes only to steal, to kill, and to destroy. I mean, think about it. The coronavirus only comes to steal joy, to make us nervous, to create panic. And it comes to kill those who aren't ready or aren't able to handle the situation, and even to destroy relationships. I mean, think about what panic often does. It causes us to become very inward focused, and stress level goes up. And so we begin, as kind of that margin decreases and we get nervous and we get inward focused, our stress goes up and we don't treat people well. It's all about self-preservation. I mean, think about it. I mean, we tend to argue with one another, and we argue with the people around us and the way people are handling things, and we become, a terrible representation. And yet, that's not who we're to be. That is what is created by the chaos. And that is manipulation, that is deception, and that's what Satan does. But Jesus is talking here, I have come that they may have life, those who put their trust in me, and have it to the full. Again, he's talking about that, what do we call it, abundant life? I've come that they'll have life. In other words, Jesus is saying, look, I've actually done more than you need. This isn't just about existing. I didn't just come so that you would just kind of eke by in this life. I've actually come so that you would have life, but he doesn't stop there, comma, and have it to the full. We stop at the comma sometimes. We stop with, well, I've gotten saved. I've come to life. I've been baptized and I've gotten started, and that's it. And life is just kind of boring now. That's kind of how we treat it sometimes. And yet he says, no. But full life to the full. And then he does the unthinkable. I am the good shepherd. He goes back to that analogy. And as the good shepherd, he defines it a little bit differently than the way David represents it. Good shepherd actually lays down his life for sheep. He doesn't just protect us. He doesn't just comfort us. He doesn't just lead us to where some food is and take care of our basic needs. He actually goes all the way and gives his own life so that we can have life. He gives us life by giving up his own. Jesus gave his life so that we could have it. I mean, why would we ever abandon that? Why would we ever, the question really is, why then? Why would we ever have anything to fear? Why would we ever allow fear to control us? Why would we allow fear? In a season like this, why would Christians, and I don't think in a large, kind of looking at the church at large, I think the church always responds as a whole very well during seasons like this. I think it's more of like on an individual level. Our families and as individuals and how we kind of participate in the crazy. And, we were joking in our video today about, like stockpiling toilet paper into our vault at the office. We were just kind of poking a little fun at that. But I think we tend to do that sometimes. And we show a side of ourselves that's just not appropriate. It's not true. It's not characteristic of who we are. Why in the world would we let fear control us when it neutralizes who we can be? When it keeps us from serving people the way that we want to serve them? It's like, well, we just I gotta stay at home, and I can't give because things are tight, or I can't participate in that because, I might touch my face and get the bug or something. And why would we, there's wisdom, but then there's also trust. And so we're supposed to somehow do both. It's a both and. It's walking in faith while being wise. And the reason it's so difficult to manage is because this is always true. Uncertainty is inevitable. That's just a fact. But fear is always optional. Uncertainty is inevitable. Fear, always optional. Uncertainty is always coming our way. You don't know what's going to happen. Nobody a few weeks ago saw this coming. Nobody knew. Don't you remember? Even just the beginning of this week. It was kind of something we were watching and we thought, maybe, and one day we'll have to think about this. What's it going to be like? And then it was like in a 24-hour period, all of a sudden we were thinking, oh man, I guess everything's going to shut down. President Trump gets on there and I think he did a fantastic job of talking confidently about our plans and the things that they're doing. And of course, he doesn't give us all the information because we don't do good. We get very emotional when we have too much information. And so he gave us enough to know what to expect. And so, but this isn't about leaning into our government as much as it is trusting those that God has put in place and trusting our Heavenly Father. That's the difference. Uncertainty is going to happen, but fear is a choice. Fear is always optional. Fear is more of a response. It's kind of a knee-jerk reaction. And so that's always going to, want to sort of rear its ugly head, but it's not required and it doesn't have to. We can always push back against it. Why? Well, because this also is true. God is in control. Uncertainty is always going to happen. It's always going to be a part of this. Fear is optional because God is in control. That's what we know. And really, that should be enough. It should be enough. Yes, we got to be wise. We got to think about, what our business is going to be like, and we got to make good decisions as far as our finances go. It doesn't mean living carelessly. It means being smart, using our head. But it also just means at the end of the day, knowing that we don't have all of the information and we can't know what the future holds. And so we've got to trust, hey, God does, and He's in control. So the question I want to leave us with to consider over these next few weeks, and this is going to be a challenge for everybody, as we meet together, and we're going to, hey, as soon as we can get back together on Sunday mornings in a large group at the high school, we're going to do that. But for now, we know that we can't. Schools are closing Wednesday, and so we're just going to follow their lead. We don't have a building, and so we're going to meet in small groups. We're going to take this a day at a time. But it doesn't mean that there aren't things that we can do. And who knows? We may be fully quarantined here soon. And so is there something that we can do? And so I think there is. But this is the question that we need to consider. What can you do to boldly embrace your faith and live without fear? What can you do to boldly embrace your faith and live without fear? As individuals, as families, as a congregation, what can we do to boldly embrace our faith and live without fear? And I think it ultimately boils down to looking for opportunities to serve other people. When we embrace faith and we live without fear, you know what Christians end up doing? When that's truly characteristic, they begin giving extremely generously because they're not worried and they're not living in fear about their finances. They wind up serving other people outside, even in areas where it feels like they don't have any capacity or any know-how, and they wind up doing it anyway because they don't fear humiliation. That's what Christians end up doing. We wind up doing things that are unexpected, unforced, something that was unthinkable, something, that a few weeks ago, a year ago, you would have never thought possible, something you would have never thought you would have participated in, and yet now you find yourself doing it. That's what ultimately happens when you truly embrace your faith in your Heavenly Father and you really begin to trust Him fully and live without fear. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be worry. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be opportunities to be fearful. But it means responding differently as a result of our faith in Him. Why? Because Jesus already gave everything he had to offer. I mean, we can always trust because as believers, we believe that God did the unthinkable. He's asking the unthinkable of us because he already did the unthinkable by giving himself for us, by giving his life in order to give us life. That's what he did. And he set the bar. And so the unthinkable for you might just be taking a step of faith in a relationship with Jesus and saying, didn't expect this today. Here I sit at home in my PJs sipping some coffee, and I thought I was just going to kind of check the box for church. And yet I feel compelled to step into a faith relationship with Jesus, not because I know everything, but because I know the one who does. And I want to know him better. And so I want to give all I've got to him. So if you'd bow your heads, I just want to pray for us. As individuals, as families, as a church, our communities, all of our leaders. And then I want to lead you in a time of response. Heavenly Father, thank you. Thank you for being in control. We trust that today. For those of us who are believers, we're just reminded once again that, hey, we need to trust that you are in control. And that no matter what is going on, while we don't understand it and it just seems absurd, that a God who can control everything and sees everything and knows everything would allow these things to transpire. And yet, we don't understand your ways. And who knows, this may be the absolute most perfect way to reflect who you are to the world around us. Because ultimately, that's what we're about. We just want people to know Jesus. I mean, isn't that what we say? We want people to know Jesus. And so here's my prayer, is that for each one of us over the next few weeks, that we would experience this kind of peace and contentment that David talks about, that we would put our trust in this good shepherd who has given his life for our own, and that we would begin to walk in faith, but without fear. Trusting you, trusting your leading and your guidance in Jesus' name. If you just keep your heads bowed for just a minute, I just want to talk to those of you who maybe have never made that step. You've never stepped into a relationship with Jesus. Maybe you did a long time ago, or you walked away from it for some reason. Hey, look, I probably would totally understand if I heard your story as to why you did that. But I want to suggest that maybe you walked away from the wrong thing. Maybe you walked away for the wrong reasons. Maybe it was, because of something somebody said to you, or because of an experience you had. But I can almost bet you didn't walk away from Jesus because Jesus is attractive. Jesus is compelling because he loves you right where you are. And so I want to give you an opportunity to respond to that today, to just take a step of faith, to say that you want to be in that kind of relationship. You want to know God in that way. And so if you would, just right where you are, whether it's in this room or you're listening online, maybe you're listening later, I just would encourage you to say this with me. You can say it out loud. You can say it in your heart. But just pray along with me, something like this. Jesus, I want to know you like David knew his heavenly Father. That I can trust you. That I can know that you've provided everything I need. And so I can live without fear. That I can experience peace and contentment in a time of great need. I don't know what the future holds, but I want to know you. I'm tired of doing this on my own. I've tried and it has failed. And I'm a sinner and I need a Savior, and that's you, Jesus. So I give you my life, I give you my heart, and I put my trust in you, in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. If you made that decision today, just know this. A decision is something that happens internally in your heart. Praying a prayer, that is not what saves you. That's just not how this works. This isn't some kind of magical prayer. It's really a declaration of the posture of your heart. God knows your heart. If He's God, He knows your heart. And so if you've done that today, I just want to encourage you to take another step. And so typically what we do on a Sunday morning, if you're in a service with us, is you fill out a connection card. Since you're not here with us, I just want to encourage you to go to our website, ridgechurch.com. You can go to that Contact Us page. There's actually a place where you can fill out a prayer request. Would you just let us know there what your story is? Hey, here's the decision I made. Thank you for sharing that message. I made a decision to put my faith in Jesus. I want to know more. Give us some information. Here's what we're going to do. We're not going to bug you. We're not going to call you and give you hand sanitizer unless you need it. What we do want to do, though, is send you what we call a Fresh Start pack, and it is just some of the essentials that help you take some next steps. It's a Bible. It's a book. It's a reading plan. Just some different materials that'll help you know what to do next. And then we're going to pray for you. And we hope that you'll find a faith home, whether that's at Ridge Church when we get things going again or somewhere else in your community. I hope that you'll consider doing that. That is one of the best things that you can do. If you made that decision today, or if you've made it recently, it's the best decision of your life. And so we want to celebrate that with you. We applaud you. Thank you so much for having the courage to do that. So I just pray that as we close this service today, that you would continue to look for not just updates, but for opportunities to serve people. Don't just look for, hey, what's the news right now? Look for opportunities to serve the people who are maybe right around you, who need you, maybe need us the most. We want to be a part of that. Have a great day. We love you guys, and we'll see you next week.